Okay, not clean, but I got the worst of the loose paint out of the way, which is good before I start disturbing stuff here. Yeah, I will scrape and paint. I mean, scrape and vacuum and probably wipe this all down with vinegar. I don't know if I'm going to repaint it. It's kind of nice to have paint, but below the water line, the wood just rejected all the paint. And it just winds up flaking off and going, you know where, right down in the bilge. There's a lot of crud in the bilge. I've heard tales about wooden boats that a dusty bilge is good, but the problem I'm seeing here is this design is not real big on the limber holes, which allow water to flow freely in the bilge past all the frames. And what I can see here, the little crevices that pass for limber holes here are all heavily clogged. I would rather, even though this part of the boat is pretty dry most of the time, I'd rather open those up a bit. So at some point I may clean a little bit more of this out, really dig it out. It will get happily full of dust again in no time at all, but I think you know where I'm getting at with that. So in a moment I'm going to see about taking those nuts off, take this cleat off, take this plywood bulkhead out and its little friend, the little sort of anchor locker floor thing in there, and get a really good look at this whole space and start thinking about what I want to do here. Oh my gosh, this is way with the awkward. I got the nuts off these. It took some doing. I didn't bother shooting it because there's nowhere to put the camera when I'm in there. I don't care if I mangle the thread on these. I need them out of here. They're carriage bolts, so I can't get a tool on them from behind to turn them. There we go. Brighter light. Now let's hope that those bolts are all that was a stink bug. You little... That's all I need, is to have those things nesting in here. They breed like stink bugs. I don't know if he jumped or... There he is. Die. Oh. Sorry if this, if you don't like to see that sort of thing. Maybe I'll edit that out. Oh man, I don't need a freaking colony of stink bugs in this boat. They'd make me crazy, those things. They're so dumb. What, you want to like smart bugs, Sean? Yeah. Millipede, well, millipedes eat rotten wood, so no, not millipedes, but centipedes, always welcome. Spiders, up to a point, they're welcome, because they eat things like this. A stink bug, good Lord. It's February, come on. But that's what happens, they go indoors during the winter. Let me tell you a scary story about stink bugs. All winter long, they fill your walls of your house. And then in the spring, they come out. Ooh. Then when you're using your laptop in the dark, they jump in your face. Ah! Hate them. Sorry if you can't handle a scary story. I need to put this light somewhere, but there's nowhere to put it. Well, I was going to try to drive this out with this, but because of the taper of the bow, that's about as far as I can go before they run into something. So I feel now that I've been foolish. I think maybe this cleat was put on this piece before it was installed with those screws that you can see there. But to do it that way, I got to take all these slats out. I'm kind of feeling more and more like this is a first thing in the morning kind of job, because I'm tired. I've had a long weekend working my job and haven't got a lot of sleep. Don't worry though, I'll be sure to have you with me when I get this thing out of here so we can get a good look at Nina's skeleton in all its glory. So this is worth doing, not just to get this out, but to have a look at things. This is the backing plate for the lower whisker stay to the bowsprit, not the whale-shaped ones, I think. No, they're mounted to the gunnel. This is the lower one, and I'm seeing a little bit of you-know-what here, but I think this will be okay with just some penetrating epoxy. Ooh. I don't really know what's up here. There's a chunk of, oh dear. Well, that might need some penetrating epoxy too. I'm not sure what this piece, it's like a block. It's right above that. I think, no, the scuppers are back here. There was some bad sealant up there, and I can see this has been a problem before. I know the light is very poor. I can't really move the light and the camera at the same time, but there's a bunch of old, like, epoxy filler there. This is surprisingly not too soft. Same up here. Sorry about the handheld action. There's no room in here. Other than that, I mean, well, that doesn't really matter. There's also a bronze mending plate on this side. There's not one on the other side. I can't tell if this is cracked or was cut or what's going on with that. It feels solid. I don't know what's going to feel a gap. I'm not sure why that's there. I don't know, maybe a crack laterally. I've got a little corrosion, but it's just superficial. These might be, these gotta be bronze. Maybe they're copper, because that looks a lot like what you see on copper, not so much on, I guess bronze corrodes the same way, that light greenish. Deck ply is happy here. Well, not really. Look at that. I can see a little delambing going on there. Yup. Oh boy. Oh dear. All right, we're gonna have to look at that later. On this side, which is the bad side in general, but over here, nah, that's mostly just paint. A little soft, but now there's a void up in here. I was hoping, I don't know if you remember those little vent slots that I revealed in the gunnel in the bow section. I was hoping to try to mount screens in those from behind, but I can see now that even if this wasn't here, I can't get my hand in there. The only way I'm going to be able to do it is to finagle it from the outside somehow, put epoxy around the inside, the back face, and then maybe with a piece of wire or tweezers just pull them in or something. Anyway, I want to put screens there. Either that or I got to cover them again because, well, stink bugs, as we saw, flies, everything else. So they're nice. I think they'll be good for keeping this dry, even though some water could get in there, but I don't want bugs coming in there. These screws are very short. A lot of them are buried in the wood. I can't get them out all the way yet. That's all right. This stuff is not cedar. I think it's some kind of pine. It's nice, but I don't know if it's needed. We'll see. Come on. The last one is always the problem. Always. Come on. No, don't be like that. Do I have to move my body? It's like you have to move so you're blocking the camera, Sean. Okay, little screw. I'll move so I'm blocking the camera. You know, I'm also getting a thorough look at this. That's about what I expected to see back here. I'm still not 100% sure what happened. I think the water was coming from above. I see a soft spot here. It's still damp, but I think it's no longer active. I mean, even without the tarp on there, I think I've got that sorted out. There's no drain here, obviously, but there are big scuppers that are, the bottom of which are flush with the deck, but the sealant was a little flaky there. And the paint was peeling. This is also about where the cat heads were. So the wood was rotting through there. It might have been coming down inside the void. This void runs even behind here up to this bulkhead. So I think I can make that right without tearing stuff out. But if it came down to it, if it continues to progress despite my efforts, to have to redo this small foredeck would not be the end of the world. I really don't want to, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. I could probably get the teak off without destroying it and then just replace the ply after, of course, addressing whatever's going on behind there. But this rotten frame goes pretty much all the way up. I'm gonna have to sister, I think, cut all this out and sister. Or maybe scarf a new one. I might be able to scarf a laminated ribbon here. In other words, stagger the joint. Actually, a laminated one, I could do a pretty progressive overlap, and I wouldn't have to stop. I could go almost all the way down. What I don't want to do is remove this rib outright and replace it. I'd have to steam it, etc., etc. But I think I can do a lamb scarf if I can get these bolts out. I'm hoping these go all the way through the hull, so I can just find them on the outside and carefully back them out, get new stuff in there and replace them. But it's not really time to worry about that yet. Although I think this month I got to cut out the rest of this rotten stuff and get it off the boat. It's not like fruiting bodies, but it's not good. I can kind of smell it. Yeah, most of these screws are pretty well painted in. But they're bronze. Always nice to see bronze until they break. Yes. Oh, I forgot to bring a bag in here. Damn it. No. I'll just go in my pocket for now. I also forgot to bring my coffee in here. Where is it? Shoot. This appears to be a nail. Terrific. I can't get that out right now without using a hammer, and there are houses close by and it's 4 in the morning. I don't want to be a nuisance. Yeah, this one they went in quite the angle with this one. It's half embedded in the wood. I can't really. Trying to be surgical here. I can't be cutting at this hour, and I just don't want to cut this because it may go back. We don't just tear things apart. This isn't Saving Maverick after all. No, just kidding, Matt. Just messing with you, bro. I totally get why you're tearing stuff out. Believe me, I want to. It's so much more satisfying than what I'm doing right now. This one is kind of freewheeling, but I don't think it's because of rot. I think it's because it never really bit. It was toenail. It's going like into the corner of the rib here. So that's going to have to come out with the plywood, sort of. Oh yeah, come on. Oh yes. Good little screw. I take back everything I just said about you, little screw. That's a good screw. Yes. All right. Got another one towed at an extreme angle there. I gotta put all my weight on this guy somehow. Oh. Yeah. It's success, yeah. I can't just, there's no room. Run, I think. Oh. You're my new favorite, Screw. Oh yeah, I'll remember you for a long time. Yeah, I kind of forgot that these actually do go through frames. That's pretty much what's holding this on now. I gotta get them out somehow. There's no room to back them out. I gotta get this off of here. I gotta pry this off, hopefully without making a racket. For this, I'm gonna need the big pry bar and some more coffee. Freaking coffee's cold already. Well, it seems to like being there. A little too much for my liking. I can't drive the bolt back anymore, or forward I should say, because it's already hitting the hull, the head. I'm not sure how they put this together. I really don't want to cut this. I'm not sure why, it's just, it wasn't even supporting the tank. I don't know what the devil exactly this was doing, except providing support for that thing with the slats. But I really don't want to cut it, and I don't want to be using power tools right now. But in general, I don't want to cut it. Where can I put the light? You mind holding the light a minute? No, that's right, you're not really here. Damn it. I'm serious. Yeah, part of the problem too is that these two bolts are angled in that way. I can't just pull straight out on them. I don't know what the answer is. This is trapped between this and the frames, the ribs, the next rib, this one here. I'm really not sure how they put this together. Would have been nice if they went the other way with the bolt, then I would just have a nut here and I could back the carriage bolt out, but the heads are in here. This one's already hitting the hull. This one's about to. I don't know how they put this together. It's kind of, so they're as I pry back, they're resisting more and more. I got this side out pretty good, but I don't know. Something's gonna have to get cut. Maybe if I use a metal blade and cut the bolts off, the heads off the bolts on the other side of this bulkhead. Maybe then. But I may have to give up for the day on this. Yeah, this is officially getting silly. It could take me hours and hours to try to pry it off this way. What I gotta do is come back with the Sawzall and a metal blade. Now that I have a nice gap behind here, I'm just gonna cut the bolts behind this wood. Then I can get all this mess out. It's a shame. I really wanted to clear the deck here, so to speak, and get a good look and maybe take some measurements and really think about creating a little sled, some kind of ramp for anchor chain. Because I don't want it all to just fall straight down here, which is what's, actually it doesn't even go all the way down. There's a platform in here. So this was it. This was the anchor locker. It's kind of ridiculous to have, you know, if someday I have a couple 100 feet of chain, which I might, you know, in years to come, to have all that piled here in one of the highest, most forward parts of the boat. It seems kind of crazy at about £1 a foot. I think 5/16 is maybe a little over £1 a foot. And there's a couple of eye bolts. I was thinking about leaving them because they could come in handy for rigging like a lower lifeline for the bowsprit work until I rig a platform, but I can see that one is mighty corroded. This one, much better. I might take these guys out. I don't know, or replace them perhaps. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta check the drawings I have, but I'm pretty sure this is not actually structural. The tank was sitting on this. This was supporting the bulk of the weight with that upright. I'm pretty sure I can get away with removing this if I want to, which I kind of do, assuming the tank isn't going to go back in here. Yeah. A lot more paint has come loose. You'd hardly know I vacuumed. You'd hardly know I vacuumed in here. Anyway. It's probably about 6 a.m. now. I've kind of hit another little wall. And now suddenly I'm getting tired. I've been in that mode last week or so where I can't sleep at night. And then I get real sleepy around the time the sun comes up. But considering I came down this weekend to work, to make money, not to work on the boat, I think I got a fair amount done between today and yesterday. So I'm going to call it a day and get home before the weather gets crappy. I'm going to take a couple of things with me, even though it's dark out and the cover's on the boat. The rest of the stuff is going to come off the boat next time. I'm going to uncover the whole aft section of the boat so I can deal with the fuel, the water tank, and all this other woodwork that I want to get out of here. I'm probably going to take the saloon table out too before I try to pull the water tank around it, especially if I do it by myself. Looking again, I think once I get the fittings off, if I bring the proper wrenches, I can probably finagle it out of here without damaging any woodwork, without any help. It's not that heavy, and it will fit out ye old companionway. I double-checked that measurement tonight, or was it yesterday? I don't remember. But yeah, when I come back in a few days, I think I got to look at the weather. I don't have any work scheduled for another 2 weeks at least, so we'll get more done this month.